Boom, baby. Let's go. Let's go. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? How's everybody doing? Everybody all right? Everybody all right tonight? Had a decent day, hopefully. Wanted to hop on, spend a little time with y'all. Miss Naya, how are you? Jersey in the house. Chris, am I saying it right? Is that Chris Stacy? Chris Stassi? We are live. We are live. What's up, Kevin Allen? Vineyard in the house. Saddle High. Michael Arnold. Blake Brunskin. Boom Crew, son. I'm good, Naya. Thank you for asking. Lynn's in the house. Crappy day. I feel you. It happens. Jared Hastings, good afternoon. Jersey, it's not an echo, but make sure you clicked on the YouTube link. Don't hit the play button. Click the YouTube link. Go to YouTube. If you're watching, if you've got Discord going, it'll give you an echo. Don't think has anybody else got an echo? Somebody give me an audio check. No echo. Okay. All right, good deal. Saul Almonte. Liquidated my assets. Okay, you good now, Jersey? Tomorrow I am making rent money or I am on the streets. Okay. What's up, Cajun? We just starting. Thank you, Mr. Hygienius. Thank you. Somebody asked, was it too late to buy Serve? I don't think it's too late to buy Serve. Shelly. Jorge, Yuri, Akash, Saul Almonte. I don't think it's too late to buy Serve. I'll give you my levels here. So this is the play on Serve. This is the 4 hour. Here is the daily. We are in a cup and handle pattern. We are forming the handle. I'm waiting on the break of 1240. The break of 1240. Then the break of this 14 area between 1350 and 14. This will be the ultimate test. I am locked and loaded. I will continue to I have added and told everybody when I've added on these red days when we're down here at $10. That's the add zone. We're buying on support. You know, you could have bought this and sold it probably 4 times now between 10 and 1250 for 20%, 25%, 4 or 5 times. I have just continued to buy on red days. let's see here. I have a about a $15,000 position in it. Okay. So I'm with you in it. My average is 1073. So there you go. I'm in about right here. This is my average. And I buy, down here closer to the 1050 range and down to the $10 range. If you don't want, if you want to run with a stop loss, your stop loss would be just under 10. You could be loose and say that low back there at 950 or 975. You could run a stop loss around in there. I would advise you to. Anything can go awry. Anything can go wrong with it. That's why we buy low, we sell high. Right? This is a swing. Angela on Apple. I'm still in my September Apple calls. Trying to give it a little more time. Trying to give it just a little more time. I was up 25% on it at one time and didn't take it. Just because I really want to bust up and hit through $16. I'll go pull Apple up. If I just let me take all my drawings off here. This is the daily. It's running hot. RSI's hot. MACD's up. Weekly. MACD pointing straight up. It is in bearish territory still, but the direction is up, and the RSI is over 50 now on the weekly. I think, obviously, 216 is resistance. Very, very clear, easy to see to me. 216. One good pump can get us to 220, and then 225 right up here. This is my goal. This is my plan, my trade plan. You got to get a trade plan, and you got to stick to your trade plan. If it don't go through, you minimize your loss. Don't hold on to stupid losers that never pay. We have to trade a plan. You have to have a plan. You have to go into any kind of trade with a plan, especially a swing trade. So right here is the gap I'm trying to cross right here. Right there. See that? Over this line, which is around the 216 mark, we start pumping over that. Gets us to 220 up here to this first shelf. That's my trade plan. There's September 19th Apple calls, 230 calls, and they're pretty cheap, man. So if I look at them now, how about that SPY? Everybody like that SPY? Apple, where are you? There you are, Apple. So September 19th, 230 calls are right at $300 now, so they're pretty cheap calls. Yeah, I feel you, Jose. Like to me, if it doesn't pump in the next bit, probably a couple weeks. I gotta reanalyze and see, you know, if I'm gonna hold them or not. I'm about break even, maybe slightly down now. So I ain't sweating it too bad. But I'm not overloaded on my position size either. I'm not in on $180,000 account with $170,000 of Apple calls. I'm not like, you'll take in consideration your account size and go off of that. So, you know, you could buy a few of these for $900 and hopefully we get a good profit off of it. What's next, guys? Lens, I didn't say through earnings. I was trying to hold in anticipation of a run up to earnings. Over the past several weeks, we have made some higher lows now. So that's kind of trend line we're on. Low, low, low. You know, just watching this range. Yep. No problem. No, I'm MF. I'm not holding through earnings. Saw I trade the Qs sometimes. It's just they often run together. Usually not too much difference in them. I'll show you. I was able to catch SPY today. Now, here was my levels I gave this morning. And if you'll look exactly where we rejected at, I gave you this pre-market. If you'll see my line right here, we rejected right there in pre-market, right at pre-market. Once we got under, here was my next line, 637.40. So if you played this the right way today, this was not an easy day to trade. You got a rejection on this one right here, off of this run up. You got one break for a small flush, back test, break again for a nice flush. Okay, if you'll notice, it bounced in the same area as Friday. This was a bounce play with two tops, one top, two top, rejection for another flush down. And I took calls at the end of the day right here, just because I like the level. That's 6, let me see here. So 635.70. If we do this, we got some pretty decent support here. This is why I would probably, if we would have fell down to here, I would have took calls here also. This is decent support. So you got a whole block of support right here. These shelves that I'm watching. All this. And you'll see right where we came to today and held right inside this shelf. And if we stretch this line on over, see the bottom peak back here where it bounced that day, back on Friday. Got a run up and a back test right here, 635.60, right where we bounced today. So we'll see. Hopefully that's support right now. Near term, the 1 hour started turning back up. So I love playing these when they come down to the zero line and then cross back up. I like playing them like that. So, okay, 37 drawings all gone. All right, let's see who wanted to see what. Definitely nervous for any of that this Thursday. Angela, a good level for investing long term on SPY. I just wouldn't be right now. I got you, Mandy. I'll bring up Bull. I would be. When you say long term, are you dollar cost averaging into shares for like 20 years? Or are you talking about like leaps a year out or something? Shares, Angela? Dollar cost averaging? Like if you're going to hold it for super long term, if you're throwing $50 a week in, it don't matter. But no shares forever. Yeah. I like buying SPY and the Qs for long term when at least we get to the 50, the 100, and the 200. So let's add that. Here's long-term investing. Anytime the daily taps your there's the 100, the 50 is green, and the 200 is blue. Anytime the daily is beneath the 200, oh boy, is it great to buy long term. That's pretty much for any big, nice company, Google, Amazon, Apple, all that stuff. Anytime you're under the 200, like back here in 2022, you got this whole big old dip all the way up into 23. It spent a lot of time under the 200 and the 100 and the 50. And when you regained it on the daily, you would have been buying the SPY at 400 and under. So I like to buy that stuff under the 200 EMA. Now, it could be a while before we get that again. So in the meantime, you can always do your long-term buying off the 50 and the 100 on the daily time frames. Anytime it tests the 50 and the 100, like here's your 100-day moving average. Tap, regain, tap, right here. And then the last time coming out of that 2022 stuff in this area. Those are all great buys. Same thing on this run going up through here. Here, and here. You don't want to buy on green days when it's pumping. You want to buy on red weeks. That brings your average down nicely. But you can always just throw your money in your account, have your money built up, so you can make larger purchases at one time or something. Yeah. 1 hour on Bull for Miss Mandy, I think. Man, what is it with me and this drawing tool? Y'all got to get control of me. I'm going out of control with this drawing tool. Okay. Let's look here a second. See what we got, Mandy. This thing is not very old, so Here's a 4 hour. Are you trying to short this, Mandy, or go long? It's good support right here. You got leaps. Jersey Finest, I used the 5 minute. What's your average, man? Well, I don't know what contracts you've got, but this was a whole big nice time to average into this stock. Daily RSI is trying to flip down. I'll be patient with it. This is probably going to come back and test this 1450 area. All the buying is in here. So here's the POC. Everything's down here, my friend. 1850 is going to be resistance. And that's just that. When it breaks it, you don't have much above you. Like if it gets enough momentum to get over that, and I'll say back here with the RSI at 85, it couldn't get through it. So it's probably a, long-term hold, long-term play. The lower you buy, the better you are. You got a 1450 support and a $12 support, and then a 1030 support. Okay, there's your 3 support lines. Average is 1650. Yeah, anything you can buy down here is going to help you if you're going to keep it. So you're welcome, bub. Mandy, the January of this coming year of 2026. Brock, I don't have any Pepsi right now. Cajun Power, yep, I've got a few target calls. What's the 2 lines in my RSI? Good question. I feel you, A-Cash. Maybe I can answer that in a minute. My RSI is different. You're right. Whoever asked that. Because I like 60 and 40 instead of 70 and 30. So I've changed the settings on my RSI. If you'll notice on SPY today, somebody asked what time frame I was playing. Do you see this consolidation day back here on Thursday? You look exactly where we bounced today. support, brother. It's also where we back tested on Friday after you got all this consolidation here. We climbed above, I guess that was previous day highs. Back tested here and ripped. Now we have came back down to back test this on the upside of it, and we bounced. I played this whole run up. It was pretty nice. This was not an easy day to trade the SPY. It was even though we fell down, it was a choppy way down. One good drop and then chop and chop. That's all it was. So that's just how my brain processes stuff, Cajun. When I see back tests and on smaller time frames, I can see consolidation and places where it tested at and dipped and held. Somebody asked for ELF. Let's do that. How's everybody doing, man? Anybody catch that AMD call I had today? Oh, man. She ripped. Okay. ELF. Okay. Okay. I've never charted this. We got this one day kind of makes this channel wild. Otherwise, it's more like this. That's a 1 hour. $122.75's resistance. Okay. Sorry, guys. It's a tough one. You got a MACD cross up just now on the daily. That's bullish. This RSI looks to be flattening up here around 60 though. This could be peaking out right in here and staying in this range for ELF. There's a good chunk of volume up here. So support is this big gap right here, obviously. Sorry, I got discombobulated a minute. 105, I'd call 105 support. If you lose this, you're gonna flush to 90 like that. It's gonna be nothing. It's gonna be like a knife through hot butter right here. You ain't got nothing here to hold you up. Nothing. So this could just be building consolidation here, which is why the RSI is going to come back down, test this signal line again, and tap, and then hop up maybe. That's one scenario. MACD did cross. It's not a super strong cross, but it crossed, and it's above the zero line. It's a little bullish leaning to me, and you're in an uptrend, so take it for what you will. I would want to buy closer to between 106 and 110. That would be where I wanted to buy. Okay. Hey, Cash, I ain't left your question. Just got a bunch of other people asking everything too. So this is one reason that I choose to day trade a decent amount. Cash is because so many things now have ran up, right? So if we go to the SPY, 484 to 640 since April. Since daggone April. Now, the last time at the same level went from April all the way till February of the next year to get that. We have definitely been pushed up on a heater. So some things are going to pivot. I can see the SPY. I mean, it can still climb, no doubt. It's running hot. RSI is now at 75 on the daily. But still room up on the weekly. MACD still bullish. My two main areas to hold are 615. And then you got 580 down there. So the inverse of a lot of things is that the SPY has printed this whole last run up, this pivot low down here, has printed the most volume up top now. So these are strong supports for me. If we get pulled back to 615, I would like that for another run back towards 650. The same with if we did get back to 580, which we can. But if I bring this line on across this volume shelf that's built up here, you're going to see it's the top of the last move. You see that? So we have cleared this. This becomes support for me at 615 area. And to me, you know, we build up here. Pull back, build, pull back, and then, you know, we're eventually going to bust through it at some point. But this is what we want to hold. And then we have this area here down to 580 for secondary line of support. I have one thing is I think, you know, Apple, obviously, for rotating out. You see AMD has absolutely went parabolic. Josh called this down in here in the 70s, 90s area, all the way from like 100 down to 70 something. So these are going to run out of steam at some point. Here's the daily on AMD at 80. How much more can it run, you know? How much more can this thing go? The weekly, straight up parabolic. 73 on the weekly. So here's your next target, 187.40. And then all-time highs. Again, to this 200 will be a huge psychological level like it always is. Any kind of big even number like that. So I think you see some rotation out of this into some other things. But this again is why I go back to, you know, I'm pretty good at finding levels for long-term things. I know where to buy them when I want to buy them, but I stick to decent companies. And I do pay attention to a lot of Josh's swing plays. And you've noticed that he has pivoted into some things like Apple and Target and, you know, Serve, APLD. Those are things I've rolled over into. I'm still holding Tesla. I'm still holding Amazon. But a lot of these things, I mean, daggone. If we bought, like what I was talking a minute ago, if you bought Amazon anytime off the 200 EMA or when it got close to it, you're doing well, right? Or if you're under it, you're doing well. Any of those companies like that. So Acash, you know, I choose to be able to day trade and play things either which way I want to play. Apple is something I have hopes in that things are going to rotate over into. I think Google may have seen its high for now. This thing also went crazy. There's the 1 week. Here's the daily on Google. It's pulling back a little bit right now. Got to cool off. These things have to cool off and retest some support under them. Google has higher support down in this area. It's not built up enough up here for me. So I think Google could pull back to 180, maybe down to 175. There's your pivot low down here. Anything down here at the 180 range, maybe down to 160 would be good buys on Google for me. Again, that gets you to the 200 EMA. So, yep. SPY looks bullish on the 1 hour. That's just a walk. Saul, I think I need to fix my chart as the double top on SPY on the daily is at 609, huh? $609. I don't know, brother. 609 is way back here. Not sure if I follow. Oh, the support I mentioned. Yeah, 610 to 613 area. That was the previous all-time high, was right there, 613 on that last big run up. And you sort of, I mean, you had all kinds of tops through here. This was a huge consolidation zone before we sold off. I got you, Saul. What's up, Pamela? Back in Bristol. Going good over here. Let me scroll up and get some other comments, guys. Okay, UNH. Good question. So, somebody brought it to my attention. Oh, man. That UNH has got a, what do they call it? A leverage, a 2x leverage. So if you go to UNHG, they now have a 2x long ETF that is much more affordable. Let's go to 1 hour. Now, here's the 1 hour. So this is a new ETF that tracks UNH. You can buy this around $15 versus UNH at $200 or $300 a share. So, and that's a 2x leverage. So UNH, I am holding some shares, and I've just bought shares for long term. Not a bunch, but a little starter. And I'm debating on whether to switch my shares over to this. I'm debating on whether just to switch over to shares of this. I kind of mentioned it to Josh. He said that he would look into it, that it wasn't a bad idea for an alternative. Now, I don't know about options on this. I guess I could check on Webull. UNHG. They do not appear to have options. No. So this is shares only. This isn't a bad, if you want to get a piece of UNH, but you don't want to pay $300 a share, this isn't a bad option. Okay. I would say local support down here around 1450, 1460. And you got that one move in pre-market down here to 1420. So, yeah. If UNH, let's go chart UNH. So if UNH, if we take this to the weekly, look at some older levels. It is very oversold, even on the weekly. This is kind of a comeback story, I guess, is what this is going to be. And to buy, I would almost, how bad are UNH options like leaps? So if we went out to January 16th of January of 2027 for calls. The 350 calls have a... Here's the 350 calls. They're $34 per contract, so $3,400 per contract. All right. They have really high open interest on them, though. 16,000 on the open interest, and this is close. It's a 0.46 delta. I'd rather have a 0.5 delta or better, but the 330 calls don't have near the open interest on them. So I would almost want to buy something like this, even though, you know, these are $3,000. Yeah, but I'm going to hold them for, this is July of 25. I would hold them till July of 26, close to a year, and watch this thing. And as long as UNH doesn't fall beneath its previous lows of that 250 range, I'd probably let it ride. That'd be my idea on it. 267's one line in the sand, and then 247's your other line in the sand. That's kind of how I would approach that if you had the capital. On the weekly time frame, you can see the company, man. It's a big company. This has got support all the way down here to 216, and it's built some support. It's building some now, and you can see the last time it had some consolidation in this general region here, and look what we're coming into right now. So, you know, I think it can come on down some more, yeah, but I think this is the general area for a long term outlook. Who knows, they come out here and kill earnings and this thing flips around. You know, it's on its lows. Even the weekly is a 28 on the RSI. When's the last time it's ever been there? 2008. Yeah, almost 20 years since it's been that, you know, seen that on the RSI on the weekly. Hopefully that helps. I don't know. I don't have any hopium on it other than it's on its lows down here, and you should see some things turn around at some point in this region. Okay. TTD. I'm locked and loaded buying. Yeah, let's look at TTD. I've got a good chunk of it. Oh boy. Oh boy. What was the strikes that Josh had on these? So here's the daily. Look at this gap, y'all. Look at this gap. Got a lot to fill up here, all the way to 112. B-Ball 86, you're welcome. Thank you. What was the options Josh got on the trade desk? Anybody remember? because it's breaking out. Here's the weekly. You remember what date, ICE? The $90 calls for September or something, or January? Look at this weekly. MACD is about to fire through the zero line. RSI's at 60 on the weekly. Man, if that thing pushes, it's gone. Oh, they're 919s on the $90. That seems right. I believe you're right. So, TTD 919s. The $90 strikes are $7 a contract right now. So $700 contracts. These can. Here is. Let me pull it on a chart for you. Okay. Here's the option on a chart. Where did that go to? If this gap fills on these options, that would place the price of these options back up to about $30. They are $7 now. So that's about a 300 to 400% move. Okay. Nice, Ambrose. Nice. Yeah, I kind of thought they were January too, maybe, Zen Trader. Are they January calls? Or he might have had both. January 16th, $90 calls are $12.40. So, I don't know. Okay. Opinion on Bitcoin. I've been tracking Sui. Okay. What's the daily look like? I think it's going to consolidate. I think it's going to consolidate up here some more. $110, $111 support. Little support here at $115. Well, it's built. Sorry, guys. 115 right there. It's not built much up here. This can fall back. Here's your daily. Price. Price is flat. RSI is falling. Little bit of divergence here. A little bit of bearish divergence here. But this could just be bleeding back towards 50 on the RSI on the daily. 115 support, then 110. That's just kind of general areas. 115 and 110 would be your local supports. As far as the what's going on in the crypto world, I don't keep up with it. I'm not big in the crypto news and all that stuff like Josh is and a lot of other gurus. I just trade the chart. That's all I do. I just trade the chart. And this chart says when it broke, when I tell you to become a breakout trader, when it broke this high right here, there was your next leg up. And the chart told the story down here as well, right back here. You got to cross back up on the MACD. This drawing tool. Right there. Bleed off back through the zero line on the MACD. There was your buy signal on June 25th. If you bought at the top of June 25th with the crappiest entry at 108, within a couple weeks you had 123. Just do what the chart says. It's to me, it's that there's a double top here, 112 and 112 right there. So 115.5 and then 112. There's your two support lines. I feel you, Chris. John. Going off for a little. Okay. I'm not going to put you out there, but for 2 years, and you won't be able to look at your portfolio. Any recommendations? I mean, if I was in that kind of situation, I would probably roll, if I had 100K, I'd probably roll 50 in the SPY and 50 in the Qs and let it ride, man. If you can't touch it, do nothing, check it. If you're not going to have access to anything, at least you know it would be just tracking the market, growing. Yes, I'll look at FI. Yeah, John, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, brother. If you bought the this is July. That's 25. So if you bought 2 years ago on the Qs at 350 area, you're up to 570 now. That's, you know, you're working on 100% move. John, you could buy one like 2 years out, but you better be able to check it. I don't think I'd put my whole portfolio in it, but you might could add a couple in there. Not on 20K, brother. I don't think I'd do that. If you had 200K, I would maybe put 5 or 10 into some leaps, or 15. Yep. Strikes and prices on that. John, I've never looked at nothing like that, brother. QQQ options for June of 2027 are about the 570s are going to be about $8,000 per contract, my man. If you bought the $600 calls, which is like out of the money, $30, 2 years, it's probably all right. You could, but there's no volume on these yet, you know. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's a tricky one. I would probably just throw mine into the Q, like split it between the Qs and the SPY and let it ride. Yep. Okay. Marvel, somebody said MRVL. Seems like I did this not long ago. Same thing. I've already got my alerts set here. $80. Yep. It does look like the MACD and the RSI are ready to push. This is an interesting one. I would be treating $68.50 as my support. $68. 71 and 68 would be my two supports. On the daily, this is about to cross the 200 EMA. This could be getting bullish with a break over 80. It gets real nice because there's just not much up here. Yeah, this could be looking okay, man. Obviously, all your all your volumes here. Once pressed out of this area, there's not much up here. Your next resistance would be 110. You'd have like 92 and then 110. So this don't look too bad, man. And the oscillators look pretty good. RSI and MACD. MACD's about to flip up. So yeah, I like Marvell, man. Might be a good find right there. MRVL. Huh. On the daily. I kind of like it. The $80 strikes or the 77.50s. There's a lot of open interest on the $80 strikes. And those are about $500 a contract. I don't mind those. $80 strike. There's not a lot of spread on the bid and the ask. And volume's pretty nice on that. Open interest is pretty nice on that. Delta's a little low, but 0.46. If we look at that on the chart, go to the 1 hour. This don't look too bad, man. Daily. Yeah, these could easily go 100% to $1,000 a contract, $900 a contract. I'll put that on my watch list. That's a good find. It's a good find. There you go. I would set an alert. Let's drop her down to an hour. Hit the reset. Get rid of these drawings. I've got an alert at 80. Right here, previous highs. 76, then basically 80. So if this starts pushing through 77, I'll alert right there too. Okay, good find. And then FI, somebody asked for FI. What is FI? FI. Why is it spinning? FI. Okay. What is this? Something ain't acting right. Okay. Golly, Maggie. Yes, I know. You want to say hi to everybody? Oh my God. That's Maggie's way of saying hi, guys. I got a few minutes, guys, and I gotta go. Okay. We were going to look at ENPH too, Inface. Pfizer Inc. Stock Exchange. It's the monthly, weekly. It's coming into support here. Top. 126 support. $108.50, $108.60. Then 93. That's on the weekly. Appreciate the thumbs down, brother. RSI is pretty oversold on the daily. This could consolidate down here a little bit. This is acting support right now. 126.60. I've never traded this. Hey, there you go with 2 thumbs down. Yeah, it's got some I like how the thumbs down never say anything. It's got a little more room down here to come. 126 area. This, I mean, yeah, it could be a long term thing. I would want this shelf here at 91 or so to hold. If this drops, you come on down pretty fast to 50, but it is pretty oversold on the weekly. I ain't saying it doesn't have more room down, but it's on its lows. You would want to see if it can consolidate here or one of these other ranges I gave you. 110. It could fall through this and get to 110. Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Merv. Yeah, I love keyboard warriors out there with their thumbs downs. I love them. They don't want to learn. All right, my buddy Blake wanted to look at AMD for a second. Hey, I appreciate it, man. This is part of it. This is why I come on here. I mean, I got 1,000 other things I can do, but this is the time it takes, when you got an hour in the evenings and a little time to chart. This is what you have to do over and over and over and over and over to see patterns and to see things how they work. And that's why I come on here with everybody, because I want to, if you got questions, now's the time to ask. Like, why is this? Why is this way? Why is that way? What do you do here? What do you do there? If you got a question to ask. I just come on to help everybody. So that's all right, though. I know most everybody loves me. All right, my buddy Blake says AMD's been ripping on the breakouts. You're right, Blake. It has been. And one of the reasons, I mean, it's been on fire. Ain't no doubt about it. No doubt about it. There's a 15. Let's get a 1 hour here. Now, if we chart this together, we're in a pretty big uptrend here. Maybe right there. Right there. Somewhere in that neighborhood's kind of where we're at with AMD. Now, it's been consistently making higher highs, right? And higher lows. When you break this down, let's say a 15-minute chart or 5-minute chart, however you want to look at it. When this stock, the way we start our day off, anybody new out there, is we chart a few lines. One of those lines are pre-market highs. There's pre-market on that day. Here's pre-market today. Here's pre-market high this day. Here's pre-market high that day. You can see we're steadily moving up. And this had a weird pre-market. This bounced off of this support back here. Right there. Right there and right there. There's your lines. Now, anytime we're breaking highs, we're making highs. Anytime we're breaking lows, we're making lows, right? So if you want to be a breakout trader, we're simply waiting on, let's go back to this day here. I don't have any oscillators up, but let's just go back to the price action. Here's pre-market high. Here is the break of pre-market high. This candle struggled with it, no doubt, but it closed over it. You got one more candle out of this. This pulls back, right? Where's it pull back to? Somebody tell me. I bet it pulled back to pre-market low. These things start, like, I guess that's technically pre-market low. Pretty doggone close, right? There's the bounce. Here's two ways to play this. You play the bounce off support, or you play the breakout over resistance. Two ways to play most everything. Playing the bounce off support just means the line that you drew for your support line must be respected as your exit. If this price action cannot hold it, I have to exit the play. If you wait for breakout here, then you also have to respect this line now. This line becomes my support line, and as long as I get in at that line or really close to it, that becomes my exit. If I can't hold it, I'm out. This candle closes over it, which is bullish, and gives us a nice move up. Now, AMD, let's get the following day. This is played pretty easily if you just played the levels. Why did it bounce here? Well, you had all these shelves, all this consolidation area. I can do it with a rectangle easier. Look at all that. all that consolidation area built up a support. When AMD came down and got into this area, we bounced and we ripped back over pre-market high. That was the first level, and then you had another level of morning market structure, which would have been here and here, right? Those were the levels we were watching. You got to rip over it here, these 3 candles up, then it consolidated. You see a pattern? You're starting to see a pattern? Same thing here, guys. We just take the first cross of the price right there. That was today. Now that brings us to tomorrow. Here is the high from today. I will be watching to see if that high can hold, or if we could back test the bottom of this range down here. Now when I draw a rectangle in it, you're going to see a range. See how that consolidation? If I drag this over to tomorrow and this price action comes back down into this area, I would be looking at a couple of points. The tops of these candles, which would be here. I'll make them a different color if you want. Make them pink. And then the bottoms of these candles, which is the bottom of my rectangle. Okay. I would be looking for one of these 2 levels to hold, or whatever pre-market gives me tomorrow. That's what I'll be playing. AMD's on a heater. This plays on every stock though. That's why I have this 8-panel setup that I did for everybody the past few weeks. If you waited on Nvidia today, once it cleared its highs, it played all day long from 2:30 to the end of the day. 175 to 177, 2-point move. Just using basic levels, guys. Basic levels. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Take the cross and trust the line. If you trust the line, then that line, your entry becomes your exit. That's what it does. Do you always make sure that the 1 minute and 5 minute have the same bias before getting into a 0 DT option? No, I don't check that. That's a lot to check. I don't check that, but if it works for you, you can do that. 1 minute's gonna be hard to interpret for much of a hold. Some people like to play the 1 minute. It's a little too much for me. I'm just used to seeing a 5 minute candle. Okay. All right, my friends. I'm going to have to wrap it. I've been on for too long. What are my thoughts on DG? What about when you're at all-time highs in uncharted territory, so to speak? When you're at all-time highs in uncharted territory, well, then I have to start playing. So let's go to 1 hour on SPY. We're at all-time highs. We are in uncharted territory. So what happens is it has to draw back and find support and test it. And you either play off support, either on bigger time frames or smaller time frames. You either play your buys off support, or you become super patient and wait for the breakout. That's the only 2 ways you get to play this. This whole game is about either buying support or waiting for breakout, one way or the other, up or down, however you look at it. And when the SPY pulled back to this consolidation area from the day before, today it proved to hold, which is why I took calls there. It proved to hold as support. So, you can buy. I obviously don't want to be buying my 20-year long-term shares up here at all-time highs. I don't want to be buying that. But I can day trade this. No problem. I can day trade this. This is, we're just simply waiting for back test of support. Now, when supports don't hold, then we have to start getting another bias. And you have to find your next level down and your next level down and see where it is going to hold. Some things print more volume and have more support. Some things don't. That's why I like the beauty of day trading. I don't have to have my funds tied up in stuff and just leave it to sit there and watch. I can enter and exit how I want to. I get French fried taters, Jay Switzer. Thank you, Debbie. What about DG, Dollar General? One thing about it, we have fun. Even with 2 thumbs down. Got a smile on my face. I bet you one of them's still in here watching, though. Keyboard warriors. Dollar General. One of my favorite go-to stores ever. Taking a little beating right now, huh? Looks like she gonna come down and find this gap. Yep. Looks like it's gonna come down and find this gap. Down in this neighborhood of 98. It's a little ugly right now. I think you got some momentum down. RSI's pushing through 40 on the daily. It looks to me like it's going to push down some more. Okay. All right, my friends, I got to roll. I've been on here a long time. All right. I love you. I appreciate you. Thumbs up from Raj Deep. As I tell you every day, I come on here because I want to help everybody. Thank you, Lala. If there's something you can do for me, you can subscribe with my link to the Discord, or you can hit the thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That helps me. And I'll be on tomorrow morning. If you aren't in the Discord, this was a public video, so you can consider, if you want to get some help with your trading journey, this is the place to be. I promise you that. The Stocks with Josh community. Very family-oriented place. I love this room. I love it. No better Discord out there, I promise you. So, thanks, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with me. I love you. I appreciate you. I will be on live in the morning, just like normal, tomorrow morning, a little bit before opening bell, okay? Peace. I love you. Thanks, Natasha.